Let's get into this when the Rollin 60s forced the wrong rapper to check in. All right, let me know where y'all from. Let me know if you would check in if you was a rapper in LA or if you ain't going for it. Other than that, let's get into it, man.
In the rap game, a lot of crazy things have become the norm, especially with gangs and rappers. One example is checking in, a glorified form of extortion supposedly pushed mainly.
Most of y'all lying ass niggas is checking in, so I don't even know how you're trying to act tough in the comments. You know damn well your ass would have checked in by now.
By the Rollin 60s Crips.
It's been rumors that LA is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah. Because, I mean, everybody be checking in.
But not every rapper is down for that. From Rick Ross standing his ground.
Ain't no checks getting cut. Ain't never no checks getting cut.
Nah, but I heard that they did do something. I heard they did do Rick Ross dirty.
I don't play those games. Okay. I consider that extortion. We don't play like that.
To MC Hammer putting gangsters in their place.
So basically he came at Hammer like, hey man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You have to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. Hammer said, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there. For 5 of them straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
These are moments when the Rollin 60s Crips tried to force the wrong rapper to check in, Big U. So now, one name that comes up in this whole checking in situation is Big U. Recently, he and some members of the Rollin 60s neighborhood Crips got taken in, and one of the wild charges against him is extortion.
Gene Henley Jr., a career
Gene Henley Jr.,
who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, to further his own criminal enterprise. An enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human COVID fraud, and other felonies.
Besides being the leader of the Rollin 60s, Big U has been super vocal about rappers needing to check in, publicly saying—
See, that's the thing. Yo, what old dude said earlier, it makes a lot of sense. Once one rapper check in, everybody got to check in. You know what I'm saying? Because you setting the standard. You setting the standard. So now it's like, oh, so the last person that came checked in, let me check in too. That's what's going on.
Multiple times.
But other dudes do got to. And I'm just gonna keep it 100. Just imagine this though. If another crew pull up in you guys' area and they ain't checked in with none of y'all, you gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah. There are even videos of him warning what could happen if they didn't, which has people talking about whether all those robberies, assaults, and even deaths of rappers who refused to check in were connected to him.
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos.
See?
But if you don't check it in, oh well, check your ass out. We're gonna check you in, all right? We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
See?
For example, there have been rumors that Big U was allegedly behind PNB Rock's murder during a robbery in LA. In an interview—
Yo, they saying that they was there. Big U, Loose Cannon, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of pieces in the story, but they are saying they were there. What are the odds of you being in that Roscoe's when that went down? And if you know what was going on, not stopping it?
Asked about the situation, he talked about how he checks in when he travels, basically implying that PNB Rock should have done the same.
We in LA. When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
And then there's Nipsey Hussle.
I mean—
a lot of people believe Big U had something to do with Nipsey's death, mainly because of their known feud. But according to insiders, a major reason Big U might have ordered a hit on Nipsey was because Nip stopped paying him for so-called protection.
Everybody know Big U and Nipsey had an argument, homie. Everybody know Big U was shaking Nipsey Hussle down, making him pay protection fee, sorta. Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, I don't wanna pay you $20,000 a month no more. And Nipsey Hussle come up daily.
Yo, $20,000 a month is to $250,000 a year. You know, in 4 years, you made a person a millionaire. That's $250,000 a year. That's a lot of money. I'm not giving you that.
Protection. And the hood killed him. We all know this, homie.
Another reason is Nipsey got too big. Even though Big U was a boss in the streets, the moment Nipsey pulled up, all the attention was on him.
Wasn't nobody screaming Big U till he had to get the little homie out the way. It was Nip, Nip, Nip. It wasn't you. Big U. Big U.
It wasn't you.
Come through the hood. The little homies ain't looking at Big U, they looking at
Big
Nip.
U.
And in gang culture, no one is allowed to be bigger than the gang, so they had to take him out.
Yeah, Nip was getting bigger than the set, cuz. And don't nobody get bigger than the set, is what I was told.
Nobody get bigger than them.
That.
Now, while not all rappers were extorted by the Rollin 60s, people can't help but say that under Big U, the Rollin Crips were allegedly doing it more than anyone else. Some rappers lost their lives because of this, some barely made it out, and a few actually stood up to these gangs. Let's take a look at them. Starting with Pop Smoke. Back in 2022, Hassan Campbell was on
I gotta drop a rest in peace for Pop Smoke, man.
Podcast where he talked about how these extortionists keep tabs on rappers, knowing exactly what hotels, villas, and spots they're staying at.
You gotta check in. On the West Coast, they more disciplined than we are. When you step, they know the hotels, the villas, everywhere you go.
According to him, Pop Smoke didn't check in with the right people, which allegedly led to them breaking into his rental home.
That's
a
not really
situation
true.
that unfortunately cost him his life.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke didn't check in, so he got checked out. It's just that simple. They knew he was there.
Rest in peace, Pop.
Yeah, rest in
Hassan
peace.
also mentioned how much he respected Pop Smoke for not bowing down to anybody. It was just tragic that things ended the way they did.
I guess whatever Pop Smoke was claiming, he wasn't checking in. And I respect him for not checking in. I just hate the way he had to go out, man.
Yeah.
Next up is Nas. According to Snoop Dogg,
Because the whole point with Pop Smoke is like a lot of things came up. Like you got to realize if everybody know you out there, I think that like there's a rule, not a rule, but people can make some calls, get you out of situation. But if you out there without no protection, just realize you don't know who's there. Now, two things I'm going to tell you is if you're out there, you should be out there with protection.
First time he met Nas was in Gardena, a Crip neighborhood. Snoop was chilling with his crew when a white van suddenly pulled up, and out jumped Nas, dressed head to toe in red.
Hey, the first time I met Nasty Nas, I was in Gardena.
And that's a Crip neighborhood.
Yeah, shotguns. And I was out there hanging tough with my homeboy. A white van pulls up, and it got like about 15, 16 people in it. And all of a sudden, the door opened. Boom. Some dude jump out. He got on all red.
Snoop said his people were instantly on alert, guns drawn, but he stopped them, telling them that's Nas.
So the homies is like, they finna draw down on him. I'm like, hold on, cuz, that's the rapper from New York. That's Nasty Nas, cuz.
Nas walked up to greet him.
That was
Snoop
Nas?
gave him some real advice, letting him know that in LA, rocking all red or all blue can get you caught up fast because you never know what neighborhood you might end up in.
And he shake my hand. I'm like, it's a pleasure to meet you, but let me let you know. When you ever in LA, don't ever jump out with no red or no blue on because you don't know what neighborhood you in, loved one.
This just goes to show that Nas didn't.
Where y'all from and how are they about colors? Because where I'm from, and I was from New York and New Jersey, colors is like, the gang members wore colors, but you could wear whatever you want. It's just, I don't know, he wasn't scared of the colors.
Didn't care where he was, let alone about checking in. But according to sources, that decision might have had consequences. Rumor has it his home was later invaded, though thankfully nothing serious happened.
Okay, Nas got his house broken into.
Yeah.
2 criminals went to the rear door, broke the glass, and kicked that in.
Next up is Eminem.
Yo, he sound like he was one of them. Hold on, bro. Yo, Nas, I got one of them. Nas, I got one of them.
Back in 2003, Eminem teamed up with the legendary Booyah Tribe on their single in 911. But this wasn't just your average rap collab, it had way more layers to it. For those who might not know, the Booyah Tribe wasn't just a hip-hop group. They were deeply tied to the Samoan gangs of Los Angeles.
Y'all got some gangsters coming this Saturday, man.
What?
And
Yeah, that's
if
the
you're familiar
Booyah
with
Tribe.
gang culture, you'd know that the Sons of Samoa are no joke. They might come across as chill and easygoing, but when provoked, they're known to snap, and the consequences can be deadly.
Did you catch this? 100%. Simone. Lift up the shirt, bro. Lift up your shirt. Lift up your shirt. Show your tap. Look at that. Simone.
Back in 2020, Booyah Tribe's nephew, Monsta Gunja, revealed that back in the day, his uncles weren't just rappers. They were also working as security for Eminem.
And didn't they do security for Eminem
a little bit when M used to come out to the West Coast. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Turns out, Slim Shady was being extorted by the Los Angeles Crips.
He was getting extorted by some Crips.
Who, Paul Rosenberg was,
or
or
Eminem was getting extorted by some Crips.
But the Booyah tribe came through for Eminem. They stepped in, protected him, and in return, got a feature on that track.
A few phone calls were made.
That's dope.
And then that's how the feature came about.
This might also explain why Eminem never seemed scared of Suge Knight. Take, for example, the time when 50 Cent was filming the music video for In Da Club.
That's crazy.
Out of nowhere, someone yelled, "Suge Knight is here." That single sentence threw the entire set into chaos. Suge showed up with about 30 men, reportedly members of a Mexican gang.
This is why I always respected Eminem, 50 that was with us. So Suge came, he had some Mexican. We from New York. You ain't never seen a with a tattoo on his forehead.
Amidst this tension, Eminem was also present at the video shoot. True to form, Eminem did not back down.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, oh, man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real nigga. 50 outside, what's up?
Then there's the story from the 2001 Source Awards. Normally, artists could have their bodyguards nearby at these events, but for some reason, the rules that night required bodyguards to sit separately from the artists.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The way they had it set up, the bodyguards could not sit with their artists. You had to stand off to the side.
According to Eminem's former bodyguard, Big Naz, M ended up surrounded by a group of intimidating guys wearing red shirts, a clear signal they were affiliated with the Bloods.
And M was cut off on his way to his seat, and all these guys in red shirts surrounded him. And I'm looking at M's face, and I'm looking at these guys, I'm like,
Big Naz quickly realized something was off and sprinted across the venue to get to Eminem. He said it was obvious these guys had been sent by Suge.
You see all these guys talking about death row, death row, death row, death row. So by the time I cut in, I step in front of M, I push the guys back. I'm like, yo, what the going on here, man? I was like, death row, what does it got to do with him? He said, hey, man, Suge sent him a message.
However, despite all this tension, it's highly likely that if Suge Knight had ever laid a hand on Eminem, he would have faced serious consequences. Thanks to Eminem's connection to the Samoan gang, a group even Suge was known to tread carefully around.
I was like, what's up? Suge Knight scared of you. Suge Knight scared of you. Like, man, I don't give a f. And then everyone I talked to, they was, man, is Suge really this, really that? I was like,
but
I'm Samoan, man. I don't give a I don't care. You King Kong, you Godzilla, you gonna get your ass.
Next up is MC Hammer, and he is no joke. Anyone who's ever crossed him will tell you that firsthand.
See, the thing that I like about this is I ain't know a lot about this history. So it's like I'm learning about stuff that I didn't know about before. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm going to do. If y'all want to watch part 2, you're going to write part 2 in the comments, and we'll keep it going. Make sure you subscribe, hit the top bell, and that's it. Write part 2. We'll keep it going. Y'all don't write part 2? That's it. We'll end it there. I'm out of here.